We are still doing things. We are traveling, we still have dreams, we still have adventures, and I just jumped out of a plane. So we are still living, whether we're 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus, don't count us out. And that's what the show, you like that, didn't you? Give it a hand.
But all my life growing up, I always hung around older people. Older meaning more mature, more seasoned. I just always gravitated. When I was a kid, I used to try to hang around with the teenagers. When I was teenagers, I always hung around the younger adults. So I just always gravitated to individuals who were older than I was because, one, I learned more from them. They talked about things that I didn't talk about. They knew things that I didn't know about. So whenever you are experiencing things in life, and if you want to venture into something new, you hang around those who are already there and can open doors and give you some insight to that. Our kids, our grandkids, our homes, our finances, our health, our well-being. These are important day-to-day issues and items that are important to you and to all of us here in the city of Miramar. One thing I did want to share, and many people do get a kick out of this, you know, you look at me and I'm this tall, lanky gentleman, but believe it or not, I used to be a football player, an American football player, with the helmet and shoulder pads and the cleats, and I played for legendary coach Bobby Bowden at Florida State University, and I was on the first national championship team in Tallahassee at Florida State. And it was a wonderful experience. And Coach Bowden was an excellent role model. Many people wondered how he lasted so long. Coach Bowden today, I think it may be 86, 85 years old. And he coached for over 40 years. Longer than, I think, almost 50 years. And people always wondered how he was able to relate to young, basically boys compared to him, over such a long time and be able to perform and excel over a sustained period of time. And it is because of the wisdom that he had, just like the wisdom that each of you have. And you have so much to offer to our community. You know, when we come and visit here in the center, you're having your fun doing your activities, playing dominoes, arts and craft, and doing things that I don't even do, like the line dances you all do. You all do so much here. You have so much to offer to our community. So we thank you, we love you, we commend you for being so active and giving back so much to our community.
I did work at a senior center for almost 12 years. While I did not work directly with seniors, I saw them every day. I had the best seat in the house, and so I could see all of what was happening. And let me tell you, it was fascinating. And that is what prompted me to write this book, Coming of Age at the Focal Point. This is not to say that my sole focus is on getting people to attend focal points, but it's for you to engage, just as Ms. Priscilla indicated, and to get out of the house and be active and be good to yourselves.
And I am a senior financial advisor at the Henderson Financial Group. I've been a stockbroker and financial advisor for over 20 years, and I absolutely love what I do. Let me just say that you are, everybody in here, something that we don't see these days. And when I say that, my father raised 7 children on less than $20,000 a year, and we didn't know what we didn't have. And today, I see grandparents re-raising grandchildren. I see grandparents loaning adult children money. I see grandparents who made it work and figured it out back in the day. And for some reason, this next generation, we don't get it. And how did you do it? And you guys have so much wisdom and knowledge and power, and we need to just pass along all of your wisdom and knowledge to our younger generation. You should congratulate yourselves You've done a great job, you look good. 70 is the new 50,
Yes.
50 is the new 30, and keep on rocking. Looking forward to your questions.
Actually, I'm just a career firefighter for 23 years now. I started my company doing safety training and providing safety training because it's what I love to do. I love to teach other people as well how to be safe and take care of themselves. So what I will do is answer any questions you might have about what you have in your home, how to make your home safe, and what you need to do to take care of yourselves also during a disaster. You know, when we have hurricane season that's coming upon us as well.
Most of us in this room are seniors. We know we're valuable, and we know we're valued in our own homes by our loved ones. But one of the concerns here in the United States is that seniors are not valued as much as they are in other countries, and we know that for a fact. They want to throw us to the side, throw us anywhere. Rather than one of you said, I think it was Linda talked about perhaps Helen talked about the value of the knowledge that you have, that wisdom. What can we do? What can we do to help push our society and our families towards realizing the value and how much we still have to offer in the society?
Every time you have the ear of a younger person or a middle-aged person, and I know a lot of us, we think we know it all. A lot of your grandchildren think they know it all, but every time you get that ear, I need you to just try, even though they're hard-headed and may or may not listen, but try to pass on that knowledge. Try as much as you can to pass on that knowledge. And another thing that you are doing, and I want you to continue to do, is demonstrate. Demonstrate, demonstrate. I see you demonstrating because I have seniors that come to me and they're retired and we're going over their portfolio and I'm like, Miss Rudolph, you have this much money? How did you do it? And you worked as a school cafeteria. You have so much knowledge and wisdom, and every single time you're in front of younger people, pass it on, talk about it. Even though they may be hard-headed, still talk about it as much as you can, because that's going to bring you additional, like Priscilla said, not that you're not valued, but additional value, and keep it in their ear. Just keep talking to them. That's one of my biggest recommendations.
Tell us, what is the #1 safety concern in the home of seniors?
One of the things that I find is that we love to cook. And sometimes, I know for me, I get exhausted. I'll put something on the stove, and then I'll walk away. And I'll forget, and I'll start doing something else. And it's like, before I know it, I smell something. Smoke detectors are very important. Because one, they work really well, and they let me know that I left something on the stove cooking. So that's one of the biggest issues. And also having a fire extinguisher by your stove that's appropriate for that use.
What suggestions can you offer to encourage independence and dignity?
How you feel about yourselves is important. How people perceive you is also important. But it must start with you, and it must start with what's inside you. Your dignity is something that no one else can take away from you. It is yours to keep, it is yours to nurture, it is yours to share as well. And when I say to share, if you feel good about who you are and what you represent, then that is what will shine from you. And that's what people will take from you. And so I strongly, strongly encourage you to recognize that what the good Lord has given you and to maintain it. If I were to ask you, do you value your independence and your dignity? You would say, yes, yes, absolutely. We get an attitude about it, but of course I do value it. And you should. You should defend it. You should protect it. Like that card, you know, you never leave home without it. My friends, we ought to do that which is necessary to keep our independence and our dignity. And we can start at any age, but the earlier, the better. And when I say that, I mean seeking the right people who care about you and have your best interest in mind to help you with certain things when you can no longer do so by yourselves. And I want to emphasize that you need to be selective with whom you ask help. And so whether it is with your finances or transportation or whatever it is, have a hand in those efforts. Don't just leave it up to somebody else. You want to remain as independent for as long as you possibly can.
Linda, what have you found to be the biggest challenge for older Americans? Biggest financial challenge?
The biggest financial challenge that I've seen is that hidden danger of inflation, meaning where your money doesn't keep up with the cost of living.
Right.
Meaning that when you retired on a fixed income, and that's what you're going to get the rest of your life, and then gas constantly approaches $5 a gallon every summer, or stamps continue to go up, or medication, oh my goodness. Sometimes monthly medication is the same as a car payment. So one of the biggest dangers is not having your money, your income, what you have coming in, keep up with inflation. You know, between 8 and 10,000 people turn 65 every day in America, every single day. The elderly is the #1 demographics of poor now, joining the ranks of poor, the elderly. So what you do with every dime you have is so critical. And I know it's very difficult as caretakers and matriarchs and patriarchs to say no to the children and grandchildren. But if it's coming to a point, like you mentioned, where it's not in your best interest, you want to find some people that you trust and just say no. Because that is a huge hidden danger, not having your money keep up with inflation. And if you're not taken care of, you can't take care of anyone else.
Kelly, you know, I have to ask about hurricane season. I can imagine as we've gotten older, especially if you live at home by yourself, what can we do to help prepare, especially if we don't have someone younger living with us?
What I do is I help you put together a hurricane preparedness kit. That was one of the issues that we had. Nobody had any water, no electricity, people didn't have their medication. Animals, you know, the ones that had animals didn't have food as well. So everyone was out in the streets looking for these things to have. So what I like to do is put together a whole kit that we keep in our houses, wherever you find that's a safe place for it, and make sure that you have all the things that you need. I make a list and we just go together and put it together and use.
There's so much talk about Social Security. It's scary. It's going broke. Could you really tell us, not a little bit about that, but elaborate on that, because that is scary to all of us, especially after we put our money in for years and years and years.
Let me just say this, there's over $2 trillion in Social Security now. We have more coming in than going out. However, up until the year 2033, we will only have 77% of what's needed in Social Security inside the kitty. 2033. That goes to say, I think I'll be okay. I think you guys will be okay. Because up until 2033, we're perfect. On that year, we're only going to have 77% of what we need. Now, what they're trying to do to keep it solvent, there's about 5 things they, meaning our wisdom and our wise politicians in Washington. And believe it or not, guys, they actually agree on these 5 things. You know how hard it is to get everybody in Washington to agree. The first thing they agree on is increasing the wage limit. Right now, you still get taxed on Social Security up to earnings of $117,000. Once you make that amount, they stop taking Social Security out. They're going to increase it. Not if, but when. And both sides agree. Second thing that they're talking about doing is reducing the benefits to recipients, giving us less. They both agree on that. Both sides agree. The third thing that they're doing, and keep in mind, these are some things that we have to do something. We absolutely have to. The third thing they're talking about doing is increasing the age limit. You know, it's a myth that everybody thinks, oh, I can go get Social Security at 62. You can, but most people will be taking it early, and they'll be leaving a lot of money on the table. So your full retirement age depends on what year you were born. Now, based on the year I was born, guess what my full retirement age is? 67. 67. I still got to get out here until I'm 67 in order to get the full retirement benefits. So they're actually thinking of increasing that. That's unbelievable, and both sides agree on that. And one of the final things they're thinking of doing that both sides agree on is decreasing or tying the cost of living increases that you get every year. Currently is 1.8% increase. Inflation is running 3%. It's already not enough. But they're talking about tying that cost of living adjustment to consumer price index instead of wages, which will reduce it. So again, it's okay till 2033. Everybody in this room, I would bet is okay, but they're going to do a lot of changes coming up, and actually it needs to be done. So we're good. Everybody in this room is good.
What can older Americans do to remain active and to stay engaged?
I'll agree that it is important to remain active, and let's get started by being interactive. You know, you've got to get out of the house every now and then, my brothers and sisters. Yes. Find a group, whether it's at church, whether it's at the library, whether it's at a community center or a senior center. The message is for you to communicate with other people. That is one thing. Exercise is important for the body. I am not a doctor or a nurse or anything, but I would encourage you as you go to whether it's a senior center or elsewhere, get into doing exercise. You know, don't rush into it. Don't go join the gym now and start pushing iron, guys. You know, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do this slowly and gently and build your body up. Another aspect I want to bring in, I think one of my colleagues hinted at it, is find your grandchildren, find young neighbors, find children of friends of yours, mentor. This is what Ms. Priscilla highlighted as well. We have to start communicating with our younger generation, because that is one way we close the gap. I am appalled these days when I watch some of our young people and the way that they communicate or don't communicate. In my culture, when I was a young girl and I passed an older person, I better say good morning, good afternoon. And if you get on the minibus and you have a seat and an older person walks in, you kindly got up and you offered the seat. I don't see that happening as much anymore. And so we need to restore the courtesies that are due older people. And let's encourage that behavior too, my friends. You know what? If a young person passes you and almost knocks you over, say something to them. Okay? You know, and I know we hesitate these days because you say a kind word and people want to hit you over the head. But you know what? Do what is right. Do what feels right within you, within your soul. And so, you know, you have to take charge, my friends. And when you come across resources that you think might be helpful to other people, it doesn't have to be your friends. You know, it could be the neighbor. It could be people you don't even know. Share. Share. Every one of us can make a difference in the life of somebody else. So when you do feel the things that I just suggested, it will keep your body healthy. It will keep your mind healthy. you will feel great about yourself. And when you feel great about yourself, you're going to start communicating. You're going to start singing, some of you. But I implore you, start today, please.
We talked about fire a little, but about just general emergencies, staying prepared in case there is an emergency. What can we do?
We have to have people learn how to have an egress of getting out of the house. And where do you meet after you do get out of the house? That's a pre-planning. Also, what I've done is I put together these packets. I have a few, so I can give out a few. What I find is sometimes we go into houses and people don't have their information, or they're unconscious, or they're not able to speak or able to tell you any information. So we've been trained to look on the refrigerators, because sometimes people have insulin, so it's in the refrigerators. So I put together this packet, and what it is it has where you can put all the pertinent information so that we will have it for you and use it to your advantage of what it is that we need. We take you to the hospital you need to go to. We have a contact person if you have someone that you want us to call for you to let you know where you are and what's going on and any information, things of that nature. And also, if you have any allergies, that's very important, because sometimes we might give you a drug that you might be allergic to. So it's very important that we know it.
Linda, we always talk about what kinds of things do we need to do to prepare for retirement. So I want you to address that, but so many of us, including me, are on the other side of retirement. What kinds of things can we do? So this is twofold. What kinds of things can we do now after we retire to prepare for 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I'm going to live 20 or 30 years, so 20 or 30 years from now, well, my mother's there. 20 or 30 years from now, too. What can we do now?
72% of Americans would not adjust their lifestyle now to have a more comfortable retirement later. Isn't that something? I don't know, they want to live for today and the here and right now. And again, I keep saying this, but I commend your generation for planning for the future. Most Americans, they really said, I would not adjust my lifestyle now. And the question was asked, well, what about later? Even if you knew it would make you more comfortable in your later years, the answer was no. So to answer that question, one of the things that you can do now is sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. I mean, be willing to say no. No means not right now. You may not can do everything you want now, but you must do what you have to do now so you can do what you want to do later. And a lot of people just don't get that. So one of the things you can do now is you must sacrifice. You must make sure that the interest you're paying on your debt is not more than the interest you're earning on your savings, or you're going backwards. So find someone that you trust, whether it's an older child, a grandchild, or a mentor, or someone you talk to, and sit down and have these conversations. Too many of my senior clients don't know how many credit cards they have. They don't know where all the money is going. It's automatic debit. Another thing I want to caution you on is only do business with people that were referred. Not someone that cold called you on the phone. Not someone that left a flyer on your front door. I get so many of my senior clients that said, it sounded so nice. Or she was such a beautiful, she had on a beautiful pair of shoes. But if you don't know that person, or know someone who knows someone, remember how we used to do who your people, who your mama, who your dad, all of that? You must only do business with people that were referred. That's very, very important. Now, once you have retired, to answer your question, what can we do? The average person lives 18 years after retirement. 18, average person. You're going to live much longer.
At least 120.
At least 100, minimum. But most people live 18 years after retirement. That's a long time. So you absolutely have to keep watching your pennies. People think it's a myth that when I retire, I'm going to spend less. Think about it. When you retire, every day is Saturday. Every day. You're going to drive more, travel more, eat out more, and most of the times you have less deductions. The home is paid off, so you can't write off that interest. You follow me? So it's a myth that when you retire, you spend less. You don't. You actually end up spending a little more. And then, of course, the grandkids, you can't say no to those cute little eyes. So after retirement, be just as diligent as you were as you amassed what you have now. And just watch your pennies, watch your pennies, watch your pennies.
Was that not excellent advice and information? That was wonderful. And we'll make sure that we continue to bring more resources like this here, so that, because we really need practical, common sense information to improve our quality of life. And you all deserve it. You deserve the best. And I'm so happy to be able to partner with Ms. James and Wingspan Seminars to be able to bring this to you.